Good morning, everybody. A little bit of a late start today. We're dealing with some interesting stuff at school, so um, well, a little bit slow start trying to figure out some things before the day gets too far away from me. All right. Let's just scoot this over a little bit for you. Get started on this, huh? Let's push this one a little bit more. Let's get these some gestures in here. Good morning. Scoot this stuff over. All right, we can zoom in there a little bit. All right, neck goes back. Good morning, people popping in. Getting the guys throwing each other around here today. Push the excuse me. I have a little bit of a cold too, so it's been an interesting week to say the least. All right, knee connects up there. Over here. Attention to that negative space. Fix the gesture a little bit. Good morning, everybody coming in. Got a little bit of a late start today. I'm dealing with a little school emergency and a faculty member that failed to kind of show up, which is, I always thought the first rule of teaching is know thy shit. But I guess the first rule is actually just show up. So we've been sorting that out. And so that should be interesting to see the fallout of that today. So I'm subbing in for his classes. So I'm doing some research on the classes, what's been going on, see if I can figure it out. And this morning, especially since I may be teaching it permanently, but I don't know. It's a subject I haven't really taught before, so we'll see how that rolls out. Alright, now we got everybody in their place, I think. So, yeah, should be interesting though. It's a comics class, so it's not a subject I'm as familiar with. And but it's what I'm interested in. But so we'll see. It's an interesting set of problems to solve. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, like I said, it's a comics class, so it's not, I'm interested in it, but I don't have any like real background in it, so it'll take some research and effort to kind of get into it. Alright, let's start designing these shapes and forms. Let's see. Apologize, I do have a little bit of a cold. popped up over the weekend. So it's suboptimal, as the kids would say. Short there, back there. That comes out there. Arm. There's your bicep. And your tricep. Deltoid. Those legs might be a little long. So it's kind of coming out there. Makes sense because the pants should be hanging back, right? He's being pulled up that way, so the shorts are going to be pulled up against his leg up there. This one goes there. That's better. That makes more sense. Good morning, everybody popping in. How's everybody doing this morning? Alright, goes to there. Thighs there. Fixing up the initial lay-in here. That goes up there. That goes there. Foot goes up there. Much better. Oh, good. Yeah, well, a little late start today, so I might be curious to see what the audience is like. That I normally get in the morning. Was commenting earlier that kind of dealing with an odd situation with a teacher that we had to get rid of, and so been sorting through some information because I may be picking up the classes that he has this semester, and see what that turns into. Dobre utro. Yeah, so good morning, everybody. Yeah, a little late start today due to having to spend a bunch of time researching for this class that I may be picking up that's kind of a little outside of my typical wheelhouse. I think I'm perfectly capable of it. It's just not something I normally teach. So I had to do a bunch of research this morning to see what's going on. And of course, I won't have final answers, so I'll actually talk to the students tonight, this afternoon. We had kind of a weird situation go down with a new adjunct professor, part-time professor we were hiring. And so, looks like we may have dodged a bullet though, so that's good. Yeah, so normally I like to go do that first thing, and then I was just kind of thinking about that class today, so I thought I would take care of that first before I jumped into anything else. Alright, we got the feet here. So he's up on one toe, basically, in this picture. Maybe like two toes. Over here is where he's in contact with the ground. Background's over there. Alright. I think we're going to play with this guy today. And clean up things that are sloppy, and if that becomes an issue. I'm a big fan of these Sumi brushes. I don't know if I've figured out exactly how I like to use them, but I do like them. I got a sleepy dog under my feet. Oh, Bosh. You waking up? Or thinking about it? So we got good yummy stuff for breakfast, and then we get sleepy. Get a little exercise, get a little sleepy, and then take a nap under the feet. The human talks to the air. It's like with my dog. He only cares about like TV if there's like dog noises or animal noises going on. Otherwise, he doesn't, doesn't care about it at all. Ever since I saw there was a comic series I got when I was younger. Actually, never finished. I guess there's a graphic novel for it now that came out not too long ago called anyway, it's called Soul Wind. But I remember like the brush strokes in it being really nice as a teenager when I bought it. I don't remember exactly what it's about though. I should pull it out and take a look. It was black and white, and what I like about the brush is that expressive potential that exists in it that's different than you get with a pen. And you can work with these Sumi brushes because of the way the hairs are on it. You can actually get very fine strokes and work the fine details as long as you keep a really, really light touch. So from like one tool, you can get a great variety of strokes. which I really like. It's one of the things that I'm always looking for is that potential in any given tool to kind of go beyond. And then I like the way you can kind of get dry brush effects on it too. So it's definitely a favorite to use. But it does take some getting used to if you're not accustomed to it, so. Good morning, buddy, popping in. How we doing? Let's see, that goes there. How are we doing for time anyway? 30 minutes? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, inking tends with these sumi brushes tends to go pretty quick too. One of the things I've been trying to find is like a good way of combining this with pen nibs and see how they kind of work possibly together. Just because especially this is so organic and the nibs tend to be more kind of less organic, inorganic, I guess. But all the same, it's good practice, right? That's what these studies are for me. A lot of just kind of experimenting, trying to figure something out, see if it'll do something that I appreciate, or maybe it will discover something that'll work. Which is where I like a lot of artists kind of get hung up, is they're fixated on everything being perfect on the first try, rather than seeing what they're doing as a step in a larger process. Getting there, right? So this is the top of the fibula right there. I should go back there and rememorize these lower leg and forearm muscles. Wouldn't take a lot, I just have to do it. I used to have them all memorized. Kind of count them off as you go around the side. But I don't now, so most of the muscles I got down in other parts of the body, but those forearm and lower leg side muscles, on the outside edge. Back is easiest, it's just the gastrocnemius and the soleus. But rest of them I'm a little fuzzy on. The ground. Got some ribs visible there as he's stretching, pulling this guy back. Alright, dog got up. Good morning. Let's get some dry brushing on here. I know, Bosch. Good morning. What was that for? Someone's expressing themselves. I don't know if anyone heard that. Got up, shook himself down, looked out the window, and made that noise. He was talking to me the other day when we were heading out the door to go for a walk. He was explaining something, or probably, impatience as to why it takes the human so long to get out the door. I was a sucker for these Sumi brushes. I get the deleter ones specifically. I've tried other brands, and it's kind of a mixed bag as to what you get. I'm sure it's whatever, hair is being actually used here, but I've tended to like these deleter ones more than others. I get them off of jet pens. And if anyone's not familiar with jet pens, it's definitely a cool site for art supplies. Do I ever use trim brushes to get a finger point? What's a finger point? Or a finer point? I've never used trim brushes. Those are like they have like an angle on them, right? Super long. I did buy some rigger brushes a long time ago. I think I've still got a few of them around here. But I've never used I think trim brushes specifically. What I like about the Sumi brushes is you get that fine tip on there, while also kind of drawing with the side, and it's super floppy, and so just a little bit of change in pressure gives you a lot of variety in the expression of it. I was commenting earlier, I kind of got interested in the brush inking thing a long time ago as a young person. When I read a comic called Soul Wind, and it was very, very brushy. I think you can get the graphic novel for it now. I was flipping through my old comics, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a series I never finished. I think like the comic shop I went to, like they didn't get the last couple issues or whatever, so I never got them. But I saw there was a graphic novel for it, so I should go back. I need to look at the comics. Oh, do I really want that? Find out what happened in the end. I have a vague memory of even what it's about, because it's just a long time ago. I just remember really liking the ink work in it. If I get a little extra time here, I might go grab it. I did actually go through and like organize all the comics I could find, and it kind of showed me that I feel like I'm missing some. I need to go get like I need to do like a reorganization in a couple days. Get some boxes from Home Depot or something and reorganize my stuff from the last couple moves. Get rid of some things. Figure out what I have, what I don't. Because I looked at my parents' house to see if any of the boxes had any of those missing comics, and it didn't look like it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Sumi brushes, though. I have been for a long time. Now, do I have my rigger brushes out here? Oh, there's a rigger brush. Nope, that's not rigger. These are. This is a rigger brush. A super long tip on it. I think that often gets used for like calligraphic writing and things like that. The company I got it from, Trakell, they no longer do Kolinsky's sable brushes. They do hog's hair and synthetic, but they no longer do any of the sable or the mongoose, which is a little sad. I don't know if it's because of like the sanctions on Russia or other social concerns or other things like that. But it's hard to beat. It's just not the same. Like you try, even the synthetics that claim to replicate the feel of hair brushes, they just don't. They're definitely their own thing. And so it becomes it kind of breaks the ability to use the tools if they aren't quite the same. But yeah, brush is definitely faster for me. I do like using it. But I've been trying to figure out some good ways of blending brush and nibs together. Maybe it's just a matter of playing with like the decorative aspects of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like maybe filling in things. And then, funny enough, it looks like I might be teaching a comics class this semester, which is nothing I've ever taught or done professionally. So we'll see how that goes. We're having a little bit of a wild emergency situation at the university with a professor who didn't show up. He was coming from a different country and kept having delays and delays and delays on his arrival, and became a problem. So it looks like I might be the only option for that class. I guess I can play with line weights a little bit with the nib. Yeah, stylistically, when I'm drawing like this, I'm always kind of bouncing between like wanting to do super clean work and more kind of expressive textured work, because I like them both. And so it could be like if I do get into a comic story or something like that, maybe it's just a matter of selecting the I prefer approach over style, just because style just feels like a shallow way of talking about things. But using the different approaches based off of what's going on in the scene, because there is like in the story I wrote up, there's like a difference of perception between one of the characters and like how things actually are. And so by having maybe a cleaner style for one point of view versus the other, it might add to that expressive capacity, I guess. I should look and see, because I know like that's something they do in manga quite a bit, is they'll change up the style depending on kind of the what's going on in the scene. Yeah, so they'll use different ink tools or different styles. It'll go from like super basic lines to being hyper detailed or some other aspect. So Not that they're the only ones to do that, but it seems like it's more common, pretty common among them. Or you look at like Sam Keith, someone like that, where he's got a wide variety of stylistic approaches depending on what's going on. That was one of my favorite things about the old Max series, was that kind of variety of style. And so going back and reading them, I forgot how wordy they were. I mean, it's non-stop, like explanations and conversations, and got a little tedious. After a while. Oh yeah, there's an artist edition. Yeah, because he's using like mixed media and acrylic paint and gluing stuff in. It's like all kinds of stuff in there. I've got a bunch of the issues. I don't remember if I have them all. There's a lot of interesting, people tend to think of Image exclusively as like, Rob Liefeld or Jim Lee or Silvestri, but there was other stuff going on, like Keith Giffen's Trencher, which I know I bought, so like I feel like there's a whole box of comics somewhere that I don't know where it's at. Because I know I bought like the Trencher series. I was kind of obsessed with the style for a while because it was so shape-based. And yeah, but I liked all the Mac stuff. I'd sit in my room listening to, Toad the Wet Sprocket and what's the name of that other band? It had like wacky. It's not Bjork. I mean her too, but what's the name of that band? Got their CD somewhere. It was like weird kind of lyrics, but it felt very artsy. Read in the Max and then listen to 90s alternative. Yeah. Keith Giffen did. I think I have that issue too of Shadowhawk, or I think maybe it was a mini series. Because I know I bought that because I really liked his style. It was like this cool kind of shape-based thing, and I didn't really understand what that was about. But I've kind of, but a lot of more kind of shape-based style stuff has been kind of important to my own development too, as an artist. Super, focusing on that a lot, the intersection of interlocking shapes and notan, dealing with the careful creation and release of tension. Ned's Atomic Dustbin. Yeah, my comic shop when I was a kid was Captain Salamander's Atomic Comics, which was a great name for a comic book store. They're not around anymore. The guy was kind of running it part-time, so he had like a regular job and then had this comic shop. But I liked it a lot better than the other one that was like across the street, which was Dragon's Keep. And the guy that ran Dragon's Keep, that was there behind the counter all the time, like he was literally the guy from he's really the comic book guy from The Simpsons. Oh. Yeah, it wasn't a Ned's Atomic Dustbin. I think one of their songs was called Hunk Papa. That's just popped into my brain. Let me see if I can find the band here real quick. Because that suddenly, that wire suddenly crossed in my brain. No, that's the name of a band, not the song, though. So I don't think it's them. Songs? Throwing Muses, that's who I'm thinking of. Looks like they're still active. I had no idea. Yeah, I had their Hunk Papa album, Throwing Muses. Let's see if I remember what it sounds like. Yeah, Throwing Muses. If you listen to it, it's like a perfect match for reading the Max, I think. Yeah, but they had an album called Hunk Papa. Yeah. Got the CD for this summer, I think. Should. So, but yeah. Never remember their names. So there's like certain artists and things that I was talking to my students in the business class yesterday, and there's an artist whose name I can never remember, but I remembered it yesterday, which was great. But I always forget his name. Doug Fryer. He's a really great kind of tonalist landscape painter. And but he had like an illustration career, and he could work in like any kind of style. So much so that he had like different IDs for his different styles. So whether it's like painterly or graphic or different themes, children's book, whatever. He had like a different name. He used his kids' names and his wife's name for these different brands. So when people would call up the house. Back then, before email was pretty extensive, they would, ask for that specific artist, and it was all just him, rocking out all these different things. He was someone who could have been one of my teachers, but they opted for the correct kind of plumbing as a teacher rather than the skill set in the portfolio. And he said it was really good for him in the end because he's shifted over to landscape painting, which he would not have been able to do if he'd been a professor of illustration. So, but it sucked for us because we got stuck with this other person she was there for like 25, 30 years or something. It's the problem when you make a bad choice like that. But yeah, that got me thinking about this. Now I remembered. I'm not any good at speed lines, so we'll see how that rolls out here. Something I should practice. I'm looking at a lot of James Herron stuff. He does some really great brush work on his work that I like quite a bit. But, yeah, about an hour in, so I think we're good here. Go ahead and put the date on here. Yeah, I got a little bit of late start just because I was researching for this other class. 28th already. We are moving along with this year. Penref. So maybe be back this evening. We'll see. I've got kind of a weird day in front of me, but Stealth Force. I don't remember that one. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I was working like at a grocery store, and this thing not moved in a while, or is it comment hasn't come through? That's interesting. I was working at a grocery store, stocking shelves, or I was actually working the produce area after being a bagger at the counter for a long time, or for a while. And so, I had limited funds for comics and things like that. So I, only got the absolute best. So always Jim Lee, right? J. Scott Campbell, what I thought of as the best. And then there'd be my quirky picks like Bone and Keith Giffen stuff, and I try other things out once in a while. That was kind of my range. When the Image stuff started happening, kept up with the X-Men up until a certain point. I think people just that replaced Jim Lee and Silvestri on that. Like they're good artists and everything, but they weren't quite the same level. At least in my opinion back then. Obviously I've hopefully learned a few things since then, but that was how my brain was oriented back then. But anyway, thanks everybody that came in, and we'll talk at you next time.